What's up, everybody, and welcome back to S&E Ants. In this video, we are going to go over the new product I have gotten in. This would be the byFormica Fluon Plus PTFE Escape Prevention Coating. Stay tuned, and we're going to go over the review and how to install this product and use it for your ants or any other insects you may have. Alright, everybody, like I said, welcome back to S&E Ants. Thank you for checking out the channel again, coming back if you're a subscriber. If you're not, you're new and you're looking for an ant channel that goes over everything ants related, this is your channel, and welcome to the family. So in this video, we're going to be going over the byFormica Fluon. Now, if you don't know what Fluon is, you may as well say it's an ant barrier. It's an ant protective film that goes around the top of your nests and formicariums so the ants don't escape. A lot of people can buy this, and as you can see in the video, I am talking over this. It comes in little bottles. I'm doing a little bit of a quick overview for this. People kind of can use the baby powder and alcohol mix formula, or they can buy this on Amazon, which I will have pop up right now. Now, as you can see, when you buy this kit, it comes with two little bottles that have cotton tips, and then you have this pin that I'm showing you now in the video. This pin is for areas that are hard to get to, and quite frankly, once the video plays out and you kind of watch how I install this product and kind of show you how this works, I had the best success with this. I tried the bottle. It's very hard to use. I recommend that if you already have ants in a formicarium or in an outworld, use the pin. If you don't, and you have a brand new formicarium or outworld or anything of that nature, you can use the bottle, and you can kind of handle it with your hands and move it around. If they're already in the nest, if the ants are already in the nest, use the pin. So as you can see on screen, I'm just kind of showing you what comes in the kit. It comes with a little installation sheet, how to apply it. Again, we're going to go over all of this in the video, so you won't have to worry about if you don't want to sit there and read all of that. If you do, pause the video really quick and you can read over the instructions if you do order this, or you want to kind of see how this application works. Then you are more than welcome to pause the video and watch it right now. Real quick, before we really get into the meat and potatoes again of this video, 80% of you guys are not subscribed. I have a lot of people subbing to the channel right now. As I told you in the last video, I'm going to try to keep up the dates because some of my videos are pushed out so far because of the schedule we have. So today's April 19th. If you watched the last video, that was a couple weeks ago. And we're kind of moving forward. This is still the old setup for the current main Camponotus pennsylvanicus colony. So this is what we're going to start working with. Again, with this nest and this outworld, I already have existing ants in this setup. So the biggest thing you can do is use the pin. Now, there's a special way to apply this, and I had to I read over the instructions really well, and I also kind of had to test it a little bit. It can kind of be a little daunting at first because you're not knowing, you're not understanding on what to do, but quite simple. If you can watch the video, hopefully some of these angles will be good, some of them won't. You just dip it into the pin container. This is what it's called. I guess it's called a pin. This is what we're going to call it for the being of this video. It's kind of like a lipstick gloss, I guess, almost. But anyway, you kind of just dip it in the container and then go around the outer edges of the outworld first. Now, as you can see, because I already have an ant colony in this, I have to kind of multitask of what I'm doing. Number one, I'm trying to apply the barrier. Number two, I'm trying to keep the ants that are trying to climb out, because when you take the container off the top, they can sense the fresh air come in and they all want to run up top and see what's going on. So take your time with this step if you do not have a colony already in whatever you're applying this to, because it's very important, especially with this Fluon, to not layer it over top of each other. Once you apply the Fluon once, you don't want to go over it again. The more you add to the Fluon on top of already existing Fluon, the less effective the barrier gets, because it's giving the ants something to hold on to. Excuse me, I just hit my ring. You're giving the ants something to hold on to, and that's not what you want to do. You want to make the surface as slick as possible so your ants or whatever insect you may have doesn't get out. So as you can see, right here where I'm applying the Fluon, it has not dried yet. So I'm trying my best to get all of the top, you want about an inch or two of application on the top rim of the nest or the outworld that you're applying this to before it dries. If you can look in the top right hand corner of the video where I'm going through now, it's already dried a little bit and it turns like a haze white. If it's not, it goes on clear, and then it just, when it dries, it's just a little bit of a haze white, whereas a baby powder and alcohol mixture will dry pretty much white and it drips really bad. I've seen a lot of videos where, you know, folks are mixing this alcohol and baby powder mixture together, and I've seen it's good. It's not, the premise behind it is baby powder is very slick, and it's hard for ants and insects to grip to. So once you mix the alcohol and the baby powder together, you apply it to the rim of whatever your habitat is, and then the alcohol will dry, leaving nothing left but the baby powder. So when the ants go to climb up it, they can't. The baby powder makes them fall off. But in that process, you're losing that barrier as more and more ants go up to the baby powder. This Fluon is different, where once you apply it once, it doesn't come off. It's supposed to stay there for a much longer time than the baby powder is. This will eventually, again, wear as the ants try to climb up the edges of the outworld, but it should last a lot longer than the baby powder alcohol mixture together. So why would you need this application? Now, in my case, and I'm assuming every ant keeper's case, as your colony gets bigger, it gets harder to manage, especially with your outworlds, or if you have larger ants. If you have smaller ants, it's not too big of a deal. But if they're really good climbers, some smaller ant species are very, very good climbers, and they grow in number. When you go to take your outworld top off, or whatever your container you have them in, it can get overwhelming trying to crush up whatever protein or whatever you're feeding your ants. So whether it be crickets or mealworms or fruit flies or roaches or whatever you're feeding your ants, you're trying to multitask of moving these items or the protein into the outworld, but at the same time you're doing your best not to have escapees. We all don't want our ants to escape. Again, in the video I'm showing you what the tubes look like, but you don't want your ants to escape. So this product actually makes it to where that's not an issue no more. So I was having an issue where I would take the top off, whether I'm cleaning or I'm refilling the filling stations, the nectar or the water, or even just feeding them in general. They were running out, and again, I don't want escapees. I have kids in the house. I have my wife in the house. This is on their kitchen counter, so I'm trying to keep it as ant free as possible and keep them in the outworld and the formicarium. So putting this barrier up, and as you can see, I'm going over the part that's dried. Take the advice from me, don't do this. You're not supposed to do it, but I was, again, multitasking. If you already have a colony you're applying this to, I understand, but try not to layer it on top of each other. If you do it once or twice, and that's it. Because, again, the more you layer it, the more you're giving the ants the ability to climb out. And we will go over it later in the video where I'll have shots of where the ants, you can tell, and so you may be able to see it in the video. It's very hard, but you may be able to see instances where it's dried and the ants can't get up. But back to the point was, I was having escapees while I was feeding or cleaning or even watering them, and it's a lot less stressful to know once you take the top off, the ants can't get out. You don't have to rush. You can take your time. I was getting in the situation which all ant keepers will eventually get to, where if you're doing these things, a bunch of ants are trying to get out, you try to put the top on real quick, or you drop something or anything like that because you're rushing. I have accidentally killed a couple ants already, and again, I love my ants to death. I want to make sure that I can save and keep alive every single worker, because we all know every worker contributes to the colony as a whole. So I know a lot of folks will say it's just 1 or 2 ants. You know, my colony's big enough now where I can probably afford a couple losses here and there, but that's not the point. Especially for you newer ant keepers that have smaller colonies, you don't want to be accidentally losing any workers at all if possible. Those, especially beginning stages, are very important to keep those workers alive. So this helps maintain the stress levels and you won't have to rush around. Now this is a mini hearth from Tar Heels Ants. I have this top outworld blocked off because I had bought what was just shown, the other bigger outworld. But I am going to eventually reuse this outworld and this mini hearth, excuse me, the entire setup, it's all one piece. I'm going to reuse this for the new Pennsylvania queen that we have also done videos about brood boosting and so on and so forth. Again, once this video goes live, you will have already seen that the brood boosting went well, and I need to prep the new formicarium for them. So I'm not having to rush here. I'm taking my time. There's no ants. It's blocked off. You take your time. Apply the Fluon evenly across the entire surface. Again, about 1 inch wide. You don't want them to be able to reach over the barrier onto the edge and pull themselves up. I want to go ahead and prep this area for the future, so when I go to eventually move them in, I can kind of just, you know, tap them in, not have to worry about them climbing out or going crazy on me. I can kind of move them in nice and easy, stress-free, and then when we go to feed them in the future, again, I can take the top off, not worry about them running around or escaping. Now, in the video, I'm showing you how they are not able to go across the barrier. You'll see a couple of ants on the right-hand side there. They get right up to the barrier, and then they are not able to, and I'm, again, showing my pointy stick I've used in quite a few videos at this point, to show you the ants are trying to get up to the edge, but they can't. They hit the Fluon barrier, and they cannot grip onto anything past that Fluon barrier. That is the entire purpose of that. You want to make sure that, and you can see the 2 different layers I accidentally gone over. You'll see the top layer of Fluon, and then I went down and got a little bit of the bottom too. But this doesn't drip as long as you use, you know, the proper amount. You're not trying to drown the applicator, is what we're going to call it, and then just cake it on the sides. You don't need that. All you need to do is, you know, get the applicator decently wet with the Fluon, pull it out of the tube, and then go around the edge. That way it doesn't drip, it doesn't leave a mess, it doesn't make the outworld look terrible, because again, and I mentioned this in other videos, we want to keep the outworld and then the side panel glass as clean as possible for our viewing. We keep these ants to view and to watch, and again, we want to take precautions again with this Fluon so they can't escape. We're trying to limit the ways the ants can escape, and so again, some other species are very, I wouldn't say intelligent, but have a tendency to be known for their escape potential. So, especially with those species of ants, I would recommend this. Again, if you've at the pop-up with the Amazon earlier in the video, you can see how much this costs. It is a little expensive. I would say that it's worth it. The Fluon lasts a long time in the directions it tells you to kind of not shake it up, but kind of turn it up and down once in a while to keep the shelf life. I would probably not use this all. I would probably buy a couple of other ant setups, especially with the new one coming in, and probably not use it all. It is a little bit of an upfront investment, but you will be able to keep it long term to use on any future nests. And if you ever need to apply it or clean it, you just take some alcohol, wipe around the edges, and then make sure it's clean, and then you can reapply it. So in this clip, I'm showing you how to use this bottle with the cotton tip. Again, this nest is the Castaneus colony, and they're in the nest, so I cannot lift up the nest and go around the edges like you should with this type of applicator. Again, if you have an empty nest, you're able to maneuver the nest in a way that this applicator would be a lot better than the pen. But I'm trying it here without the nest, and it's very, very difficult. So I end up putting the top back on because it was just too hard to get around in the especially with the Castaneus Fortress setup. It's very small for my hand. So again, I'm just going to bring the pen back out right here, go around the edges, and again, the corners are very important too, especially if you have any nest from Tar Heels, or excuse me, Tar Heel ants. He's these got outworlds that have very sharp corners. Ants can kind of grip on both sides and climb up these corners, so you want to get the corners really, really good, and again, get the flat surfaces good. So once this colony gets big enough, I will not have to worry about this. I can take the top off no problem, and feed them, clean the nest up, do what I need to do without them running out. And I do think either in this video or shortly after, a couple ants did come out. The Castanillas colony is getting their shyness is falling away, so they're starting to come out, and they still again were not able to climb up the side at the top. So that's kind of what you're looking for in this, is that A, you applied it correctly, B, it dried without running or anything like that, and then C, the most important step is that it works. And I can definitely say, and you know, I've already shown shots that it definitely works, especially for the price. So here in this last shot, I think I'm going to show you the ants again, or actually I'm showing you the outer rim of what it's going to look like after you've applied it. It is going to dry, give a little bit of a white haze around the edge. As you can see, I missed a couple spots, but it's not too bad. It gives a little bit of transparency to see through, but that's the entire process. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, S&E Ants here. If you enjoyed this video, check out this recent upload of this recommended video. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button in the middle of the screen. And if you liked what you just watched, hit the like button. It really helps the channel out. If you have any other suggestions or ideas, comment down below. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.